Have you ever wondered what it would be like to infinitely adjust the compression dampening on the front of your motorcycle on the fly? Well, that's the question, and those answers are going to be answered right now. Hello and welcome to the very first Heels Pro Suspension Podcast. I'm Al, your pal. I will be your host, and we're going to be chatting about new technology aimed at making dirt bikes easier to ride and reducing hand and forearm fatigue. Allow me to introduce my guests today. I've got Mr. Glenn Foley with us this afternoon. He is the editor of the very popular Dirt Trail Ridefast online magazines.
That's it.
Welcome Roger Hills, who is the inventor of Heels Pro Suspension, and today we're going to be chatting about his brand new invention of adjustable compression dampening valves on your motorcycle forks, and that on the fly.
But it's not just on the fly, Al. From everything I've seen, this is going to be a game changer.
It really is.
So when you ride a traditional dirt bike or even a super bike, and you want to change the clickers, the guys who understand this on your forks, you kind of need to stop, take your hand off the handlebar, turn the clicker, feel it, your mechanic will do it back in the pits, and they send you out again. And you do a lap, and you do a lap, and you do a lap.
But you're wasting tons of time there,
until you've got it dialed in.
Yeah.
What Roger, who seems to be quite a smart oak, has come up with is you can do it all on the fly while you're in the air. You can push a button and adjust your front suspension.
And this all electronically, of course.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about it, Roger.
I ride dirt bikes. I mean, hey, listen, no secrets about that. My kid races, so yeah, I kept struggling. My kid would come back after doing a lap or two and really complain about, not getting the feel in the front either being too hard, too soft, or the track conditions changing and having to then adjust suspension based on the changing conditions. So this became very frustrating, and I thought, but why have we not developed the technology that allows you to do this on the handlebar, while you're on the bike, in the air, wherever you want to be, and kind of choose something that's going to work for you? So in other words, with motocross, and I'm quite heavily involved in MX, a lot of the kids will go out and they'll give you 4 or 5 power laps where they're super fast. But then fatigue sets in.
Yep.
Now they've got 3-4 laps to try and survive on the bike, and they want softer front suspension. Correct. After that. So they can, with a little button on their handlebar, drop that down 3 or 4 settings, soften up the front of the bike, and survive till the end of the race. So that's where the fatigue comes in. So the hands don't suffer as much, the forearms don't suffer as much, your arm pump doesn't suffer. So there are a lot of these things that are obvious benefits of having infinite adjustable.
I'm going to kick in here.
Compression damping.
You've used the word infinite adjustable.
Yeah.
I'm saying this technology already exists on adventure bikes and on road bikes.
I'll say
Electronic
no.
suspension, you go click, it makes it softer, click, it makes it harder. What is the difference between that and what you've developed?
Well, Glenn, I'm glad you asked that. The adventure bikes are currently running a solenoid-operated fork oil flow system. I know it sounds quite technical, but that's literally what it is. A solenoid will click into a different position, either slow down the flow of the oil or speed up the flow of the oil. And there you'd get the changing characteristics. But that is not infinitely adjustable. That simply gives you the best average for kind of different terrain.
I think they give you 3 settings on it. It's comfort, and then you luggage, and then sports. Those are the 3.
What we have here is we have a system that on a dirt bike, if you have a look, this is off a Yamaha of KYB suspension of a 2025 450F, and that little clicker on top here is what you use to either turn clockwise to get firmer in your compression damping, or anti-clockwise to go softer. And you've got 20 settings. Well, 20 on the stock unit, on the KYB base valve. So what we've done is we've said, all right, well, with the unit that we've developed, we're going to offer you the very same 20 settings, but just electronically off a switch, using a display as well in order to confirm what you've chosen. So, but going forward, we will be able to zone into different areas of those 20 and amplify those to have a 20 settings on a far smaller area. And that will be via an app on the phone.
You said in between the standard clicks,
Correct.
You'll have like 10 settings. So you've got 20 clicks there.
Yeah.
In between, you'll have 10 between each. Approximately.
So
we just
hypothesize.
So the pro riders who know their suspension a lot better than us weekend warriors.
Yes.
These guys know that they would like.
Speak for yourself.
They would like settings, say between setting 13 and 15, because it's a firmer setting. They're pro riders, they want a firmer setup because they go faster, but they also want accurate settings within those two parameters. So what the app will do, it will allow you to zone in between 13 and 15 and give you 20 settings within that, which gives you infinite accuracy.
So you could go 14.5.
14.2, 14.1. So you can literally set whatever you like. So that's where the infinite adjustability comes in. And we're using a technology in this particular dump valve, which is driven by a gimbal motor, which is super, super accurate. It's got an incredible lifespan, and it's got a ton of torque. So when you're landing, where your compression, where your fork is now compressed at its probably most extreme level, you can still do the adjustment, and it'll still adjust during those tough conditions. So, you know, a whole bunch of benefits to use this technology.
And I would imagine that this is not just going to be for dirt bikes in the future.
No, look, initially we obviously being in the dirt bike world,
Yes.
we designed this around the dirt bikes, but then realized that, you know, when it comes to MotoGP and superbike, there's a fit for that as well.
Yeah.
Suspension is
suspension.
And requirements across different two-wheel segments require different things, and this is adaptable across all of them.
So you could, let's take, I was across in Portimao the other day, and it's tight and twisty, and then big hills. You need a different setup to that than what you'd have at Kyle Army, for example. And no matter what anybody says, horsepower is important. Suspension is whether you win the race or not.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what it boils down to.
No grip, no go.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that. So if you watch a dirt bike riding and you watch it in slow motion, the more dirt that flies off the back wheel shows you that you've got less traction.
Less traction. Roosted
Now
tails.
then your horsepower suddenly doesn't matter because you're losing. It's when the dirt's not flying off the back wheel and the bike's moving forward
that it's working.
Now you got your suspension right.
You're 100% correct.
And that's about traction.
Now we were chatting earlier, just while we were off air. You had young Ross Branch. You bumped into him the other day.
Yes, I did.
Guys, think of Rally Raid. These oaks, we watched them at Sun City the other day at the Safari Rally.
That's it.
They are on the gas for 7 hours. They don't have time to take their hands off, let's play with clickers.
Yes.
I see unlimited possibility with your system here.
Glenn, something else I just want to add as well is that this technology is going to be adapted. It's currently just KYB, but it's going to be adapted across White Power.
Yep.
It's going to be adapted to Showa as well as Öhlins.
Yeah.
So there will be a fit for just about every single brand that you have on these motorcycles.
All right. And it's great. And if you're going to sell it, let's talk. Look, we're talking future now.
Yes, of course.
And not too long in the future. How long have you been working on this project?
2 years in July.
Okay.
How far are you in this project?
We are literally weeks away from running our very first test in a motocross bike.
And what about...
so this is hot off the press, eh?
Yeah.
This is fresh.
You got your patents for this?
100%.
Nobody
So
can go out and copy
correct.
this.
Well,
the invention is on paper now.
100%. Good question as well. So when I first sat back and I looked at this and I thought about the potential, I thought this is going to be pretty game changing. Glenn mentioned that earlier. So what I did was I went and spent a lot of time building a patent. And that got approved, actually got submitted to the Paris Convention on the 18th of March this year. So we have a patent in place, we've got a patent number, we've got full patent protection. So that's the key, and the patent covers the technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that drives electrically driven adjustment within a fork is covered in that patent. We've covered the rear shock as well, because we will be building into linking the rear shock to the forks using whatever ratio you would like as a rider, with full adjustability on your compression damping at the back as well. So guys, this is growing. This is just the first phase of the technology and the implementation of, but exciting.
Now, let me ask the question. I've got a dirt bike. I want to put this in my dirt bike.
Yes, sir.
How easy is it going to be for me to go and fit this?
And screw that.
That's it. Pretty much plug and play. So what happens is in the kit you will receive a socket that'll fit into your octagon head over here. Yeah. You'll be able to remove your base valve, which will end up looking very much like that. And then you'll be able to screw this guy straight into it. Attach your switch housing and switch your rocker switch to your handlebar. The control module will at this stage be sitting behind your bar pad, and your display will be on your bar pad. So it's a DIY. It's a real fit.
And my clicker will be on my handlebar.
On the handlebar right next to your grip.
Fantastic.
So what we do on the Yamahas, we move their little switch over, the perch for the clutch over a little, makes provision for our switch housing, and there you have it.
And it's going to be Glenn proof. Simple up, simple down.
Don't look.
Click, click, click.
Guys, this is the beauty of it is you do not have to look at your display. Your display is there literally as a reference in the morning or before you go out for your ride, or if it's motocross, before you go out and do your laps. You literally use your reference to what you believe is going to work for you, and then you start using your switch and you never reference that display again until you come off the track or come off your trail.
All right.
Now if I, for argument's sake, are riding at a certain off-road track, and I happen to race there again in 4 months' time, will it hold my settings that I used 4 months
Can you
ago?
preset? That's a good
Yes.
question. 100%.
Well, you can preset. We haven't got to that memory facility on this unit. Right now, it's a functional system. It doesn't have a memory to store that. We will get to that with the app, because now that we've got the app where the smartphone can speak to our control module, it opens a whole new range of possibilities.
Okay, but if I'm happy with the setting, I would be able to copy whatever I've set it to and just write it in the book somewhere.
Well, that's
and
it.
then when
You
you
reference it the way you need
when
to.
you get down
Yeah.
to Teza, you can put it back to where you were, where you were happy.
Correct.
And that's the way you do it. So I've got a question for you. Tell the guys about this little jobby. And I'm a professional rider.
All right, so-
this is the important part of your shocks.
Right, okay. So, guys, this is a base valve, I think, that we're all quite familiar with. And how we're going to be supplying this product, what we're offering you is adjustability, infinite adjustability.
Correct.
This valving piece here, which I've loosened for the sake of the for the video, is a part that you as a pro rider, because remember we're aiming this at the pro riders.
Yes.
This will be done by your suspension guru for you.
Correct.
So all I want you to do is use the one that has already been set up for you. I'm not trying to change your suspension settings. That is something that's custom to every single rider. And all these parts here are the ones that we will use off the original base valve. That is what we're going to provide you. So this is where all your adjustability comes from, and this will be exactly as your suspension guy has chosen for you. So it is not, we're not trying to reinvent the suspension functionality. We're trying to offer you adjustment on the fly immediately.
It's called convenience. And isn't the world all about
100%.
convenience these days? It's fine.
100%. So that's what it's about, guys.
So, and the thing that I appreciate, you're not going to steal from, let's say, a suspension builder.
Not at all.
All you're doing is making the adjustability simpler.
And making life easy.
Absolutely. I want to work with the suspension guys. The whole
course,
idea
of course.
with this is to provide them with something that makes their rider have better choices, get more riding in on a day than what you would when you're running back to your pit all the time to do adjustments.
Convenience.
It's crazy. Convenience,
Yeah.
but the time saving, the
Yes.
frustration saving. I got a kid racing motocross,
Yeah.
and I got a line at the bottom of the fork doing the rebound damping with a flat screwdriver.
Yeah.
That is archaic. That's
'Cause
1973.
you're nearly 60 now.
So before we carry on, I just want to tell all our audience out there to go like our page, like this video
Yes,
right
please.
now. Go and
Yes.
follow us, share with your mates. If you've got a mate that's on 2 wheels, share this with your mates. And I can tell you in the future, doesn't matter what you're riding, you're going to want to have a Hills Pro suspension set up
Absolutely.
on your bike. But speaking of bike setups, and I want to focus on you for a second, Glenn, because I know that you enjoy enduro riding. Would this application work for you? And if so, what would you be looking for out of a system like this?
Well, absolutely, of course, especially if you're in the race scenario. So let's take the roof of Africa, for example. The roof consists mostly of rocks,
Yeah.
which is where you want a more plush suspension, get the wheel to the ground, more traction. But there's sections where it's quick, and you don't have time to stop and fiddle with your suspension and blah, 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 blah. You know you're going to hit the rocks, click, 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 off you go. You know you're going to get to the fast stuff, click, click, click. And the key with any, especially hard enduro, is fighting arm pump. Am I right?
Fatigue.
And I do
Fatigue.
believe that this would certainly work. What I would want to see is just how adjustable it really is. So I would like to certainly try it when it's up and running. But
Absolutely.
For any machine in the world, it makes sense. You talk about Ross Blanche, that's all high speed, flat tap stuff. You're talking enduro, you're talking motocross, you're talking closed circuit.
Brad Cox is the other one of our
Everything
local boys
changes.
as well.
Yeah.
Brad's now on a Sherco, and
That's
I
right.
think they're running KYB. I'm not that familiar
Yes,
with Sherco.
yep.
But if they're running KYB, I mean, what a fit for Brad as well, you know. So there's,
Yeah, I see this.
So there's some
in
top
MotoGP
testers coming in here. Huh?
World in the future. I see
well,
this.
that's a whole programmable. We'll chat, I think, in the next couple of
Yeah.
podcasts about the programmability of this product. So, you know, I think it's infinite, the application
I
of
think
the
it's
technology.
infinite uses right across
Yeah,
the
100%.
board.
And we are
Just looking
2
at
weeks away from a production model.
Well, all the pieces are already built. All we're doing at the moment is our electronic guys are getting our calibration correct so that our electronic model mimics the original base valve.
Yes.
And its setting. So that's what you want. You want the riders that go out and go, well, I'm on setting number 10 normally. I'm in the middle of my clicker range. That's where I'm going to leave my display, and that's where I want to go out and start playing. So that's a kind of calibration we're busy with at the moment. When that is ready, it goes into the bike, we go riding. And then we'll obviously start shooting a lot of the riders, their feedback of what they feel and the benefits of being able to adjust this while they're
This
riding.
is really something to look forward to.
I'm
And
looking forward to
Al,
for future shows.
And I'm going to
seeing
put this
this
up, proudly South African. Are you
Yeah,
all
proudly
paying
South African.
attention?
Let it join the Preckley's family.
100%.
Yeah, and the
100%.
creepy crawly.
Creepy crawly.
Yes.
Dirt on trail.
That's a good plug. No, that's a good plug for you.
100%. But Rog, this is amazing. Tell us a little bit, just quickly, about your background, if you know what. So we've always associated you with FXR, which is what your Lighty does.
Thank you. Yes.
You're a suspension man yourself.
100%.
Yep.
I just want to also give a shout out to the guys that have loaned us this beautiful shop, all about racing, and they carry the FXR brand. So, guys, thank you, Ricardo, for loaning us your beautiful setup here. My background is really about high-end car suspension. So I'm an air suspension specialist.
Okay.
Run a company out in Pomona called...
I've got a 1962 Citroen. Shall I bring it around?
That's hydraulic. No. We do air. So we run any standard production vehicle that gets imported to our country with air suspension. We offer air shocks, any form of serviceability, compressors, level sensors, all the goodies that go onto that. So I understand electronic suspension, but the solenoid operated dampers is just too old. Hence a whole new technology.
Oh, there we go.
And
So
this can eventually work its way into four wheels as well.
it's being built by who knows.
Absolutely.
And that's what counts.
You definitely
You're not
need
just
that
some
knowledge.
enthusiast.
I think it's just it's almost progressed.
Yeah.
You know, I understand my industry quite well,
Yeah.
or very well. So I've got to a point where I said, what's that next step? Where are we? You know, we're living in 2025. You know, we have to be able to adapt the technology. It's there.
Yeah.
Why don't we build something that works for us?
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited.
I'm very
Let's-
excited.
yeah.
Listen, and we're going to be chatting
Do you
in
know
the
someone who
future.
rides fast?
This guy right next to me. Yes, right fast. Hey, listen, Glenn, while we're talking about that,
Yeah.
because I know that you're going to be featuring this on.
Absolutely.
on
We
your
need
in
to
your
get a top
magazine.
rider in the saddle.
Yes.
Yeah.
First dirt bike, obviously. We know lots of guys. We look forward to meeting you out there.
100%.
We'll come and video it. We'll get you involved as well.
Of course, Shawnee.
And we get feedback from the guys. Let's do it.
No, we're going to do it, guys. We definitely are. We'll invite all the guys with, so we can all go and enjoy that first ride. And we'll get a couple of riders just to get bits of feedback, bit of information. Back from
I'm
them.
a motorbike guy. This
I know
makes
you are. I've known you
perfect
as a
sense.
motor guy, bike guy all my life.
This makes so much sense. It's
Absolutely.
incredible.
I just want to mention one other thing, guys, that got me really excited. Just after my patent got approved, we're still celebrating that when we were watching the Glendale Supercross from Florida in the US. And they had tons of rain on the day, and the guys were on and off the track because there was so much mud. Little TLBs and bobcats running around trying to tidy up the track. And the poor commentators were left with this terrible task of filling gaps because there was no action. So they had to carry on chatting. And Ricky Carmichael, I mean, the GOAT, probably the GOAT, came out and said, but
Told him
guys,
everything he knows.
why is it that our poor riders, every time the conditions of the track change, have to go back to the pit so their suspension guys can change their compression damping to suit the new conditions?
Yep.
He said the guys are spending more time in the pit than they are on the
Racing.
track.
Absolutely.
Guys, that's where this was.
There's your solution.
There's your solution right there.
What
So,
do they say? Time is money.
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. So just it was endorsed, the concept was endorsed by Ricky Carmichael.
Okay.
And here we actually have the product. So, you know, we'd obviously like to pass that on to Ricky at some
That's how
stage.
it's Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky Carmichael, how's
Are
it?
you,
Yeah, this is-
are you
this is-
chatting to any overseas players with us, or is this solely local?
We are starting that conversation at the moment. We'd love to obviously get this on the bike and playing and testing. I think the proof of the pudding is always in the eating.
Okay.
So that's where we are, even though we back the technology, the design to work with no issues whatsoever.
Okay.
So we're very, very confident. But let's get it on the bike, and we're super excited. So getting it on the bike, getting feedback from motocross riders, I think, to start with, just because there's so many different tracks with so many different conditions.
And it's what you know.
And it's what we
100%.
know as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the first bit of feedback we're going to get. And hopefully we can get enduro riders in
100%.
future podcasts. And perhaps rally raid guys, when they're back in town and they're not out in Europe racing, we can get a couple of the guys to come and have a chat with us and see how that works out. So just talking about the future, I think that's the next couple of podcasts.
I think the
gents.
future is very bright for this
Indeed.
stick.
So remember the name.
Yeah.
Hills Pro Suspension.
You saw it here first.
Absolutely.
Eh?
Hills made easy.
Absolutely. And I just got to give a shout out to all the guys who did our branding.
Yes.
MK, Moto Customs. Hey guys, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for doing the beautiful branding. I mean, this is insane. The branding on the telly, it's beautiful. Thank you guys.
Glenn, how do we check out your magazines?
Just go online. Go to motomedia.co.za. I'm going to
Fantastic.
catch you now for another little chat
No,
about this lot,
absolutely.
and I'll put it up. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
link it all
Please,
in.
yeah. Go onto Moto Media. Go and
Yeah.
catch up on Ridefast. All the latest
But
bike developments.
I'm going to follow you on, because I do believe this is probably some of the biggest technology we've seen in 10 years. And I also believe the fact that it's local, that's what means the most to me.
And you're the first person.
Well,
to-
that doesn't matter. I want to know what makes bikes good. And this is, why haven't the Japanese thought of this?
Well,
Haha.
because they're not
so-
Mr. Roger Hills.
Ah,
Can I throw in a curveball?
shoot.
November between the 4th and 9th this year is the biggest two-wheel show in the world called EICMA.
Yes, Eichmann, yeah.
I'm there.
Okay.
We're there with the product.
All right.
So
Space in your suitcase. I'll
Yeah,
lose some weight.
also-
I'll lose
yeah,
some weight.
I'll also go.
But we'll do a lot of shoots, we'll do a lot of pics, a lot of interviews, and we'll pass on that information on our podcast as well. So that's super exciting.
Yes.
So it's really going to be rock and roll. And there you're rubbing shoulders with KYB, with Yamaha, with all the big brands. So
Well, listen, I'll
and
tell
top
you now,
riders as well. So
if the guys
we look
don't
forward
sit
to
up
it.
and pay attention now, I
You're gonna be too late.
don't get it. So this is really something. And congratulations. That's all I
Thank
can
you.
say. I look
Glenn,
forward
I appreciate that.
I look
Thank you
forward
so
to
much.
riding the first prototype. Let's see how
Whoa.
it works.
Well,
It's
make sure that
happening real
you
soon.
guys see it as well.
Yes,
Follow,
thank you.
like, and share. Share
Yeah.
this with all your mates. Share it with anybody that rides two wheels. And keep in touch. Make sure that you stay.
Keep the
up to
conversation
date.
going, eh?
Yes, and make sure you keep up to
Absolutely.
date, because we are going to be bringing you a couple more episodes and giving you, I suppose, an update as it happens.
But the hands-on stuff, when the guys are riding and we're all riding and coming back with information about what it does for us, I think there's the exciting bit as
So
well.
let's say a big thanks to Mr. Glenn Foley for joining us this afternoon.
Glenn, thank you, sir.
Look
We
forward to
appreciate
seeing more of your products.
Your
It's
time
awesome.
as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting us, man.
Only a
We
pleasure.
appreciate that.
Till next time.
Yeah, thank you.